Hi guys, this is Mary. You're watching Cards TV. So many of you had asked me to show you how I flattened the toilet paper rolls and also how I covered them for this little toilet paper roll word book that I made for the fall blog hop. So I decided to go ahead and make another one, and this one's going to be for Halloween, and instead of fall I'm going to put boo. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to flatten the rolls, and then we'll go from there and put our little album together. The first thing you want to do, if you have a Big Shot or a Cuttlebug, this is how I flatten mine. If you don't have a Big Shot or a Cuttlebug, get some really heavy books, and you can put your toilet paper rolls under them and leave them there for a couple of days, and or maybe not that long. It just depends. You'll need to just check them until they're nice and flat, and then you can go ahead and use them. But to do this, I have my Big Shot, and I've got my bottom plate, another plate, and I go ahead and start flattening them down first. And I don't do more than the 4 at one time, because I don't want to break my plates. This is real simple to do, and because I need a shim or two, but I don't need any more toilet paper rolls, I just take a couple more pieces of cardboard and lay on top. Now if you try to get this through and it won't go through, then take some of it out, because you don't want to break your plates. And see, I think I need to take one shim out. Let's try it now. Yeah, there we go. And just run it through, and this is going to take several times. Just keep running it through. Now this is my everyday trimmer that I use, and it's a Fiskars, and it's a really good one. But if I cut my toilet paper rolls with it, it dulls the blade really quick. It will cut them, but it dulls the blade. So I have this other curl trimmer that I've had for quite a few years, and I'm going to cut them with this. But you can also measure what you need and then cut it with the scissors if you don't want to dull your trimmer. Just depends on what kind of trimmer you have. And to stagger this, we want our last toilet paper roll to stay whole at 4 inches, and we want to stagger it at 1/2 inch intervals. So we have a 4 inch, the one before it will be 3.5, the one before that will be 3, and the first one will be 2.5. So we're going to go ahead and cut our toilet paper rolls. We'll cut the first one at 2.5. Give it one more pass with the blade. I have had this for years, and this trimmer is a real workhorse. It's a little pricey, but it does a great job. So there's my first one at 2.5, and we're going to cut one at 3. We used to use this in the store when I had it. And you can see how it's going to be staggered now. The next one at 3.5. Okay. And we'll leave our last one at 4. And you can see now how we'll have our pages staggered. Okay, I've got all the papers cut for my toilet paper rolls. I have a 2.5 by 6, a 3 by 6, 3.5 by 6, and a 4 by 6. And we're going to take our Scotch Quick Dry Adhesive and start putting these on. And it's very simple, goes very quickly, and it doesn't take much glue at all. And you just want to run a line all around the edges, as close as you can get to the edges. And it doesn't have to be a lot. This stuff is really good. And it dries quickly, but not so quickly that you can't get your project done before it dries. And then all you're going to do is just center this, line up your edges, and then just wrap it around. Okay guys, I've got all of my tubes covered, and you can see how nice and flat they all came out. And I did run them through the Big Shot again, so the glue is adhered the paper nicely to the toilet paper rolls. And since this one is done using the Bind It All, I think I'm going to do this one using my Crocodile and some binder rings, so you can see how that works too. Let me get my Crocodile out, and I just kind of eyeball where I want the holes to be in the first one, and then I mark it with my pencil. Wow, this is tight. It's not like I don't use it all the time, because I do. Okay, so we're going to eyeball where we want the holes. I want to go in just a little bit, right about there. And about the same distance on the other end. I don't want them too close to this end or the sides. I think that looks about right. If you don't have a Crocodile, if you have a really heavy duty punch, you can do that, a hole punch. You might even try your eyelet setter for this. I haven't done it, so I don't know if it'll work for you or not. But you can see, this is real quick and easy with a Crocodile. Okay, as you can see, I've gone ahead, I did set eyelets on each one. I had some orange and white, which is what I needed, and I've gone ahead and put my binder rings in, and it's come together really nicely. That's going to be cute. I've cut my letters, the B, O, O, I cut at 2 3/4 inches, and I used a cartridge that my good friend Terry from I Love My Bugs sent me. And she sent me this a while back, and this is the first time I've used it, but I thought that kind of looked a little spooky. So I really like this font, Terry. Thank you so much for sending me this. I will be using it a lot for Halloween things, I'm sure. Now the B, I just went ahead and cut the B that's in here. It's cut using the runt feature. I guess because it's a little bit thicker than the other B. And I did cut it at 2 3/4 inches. When I got ready to cut the O's, I didn't like the regular O, so I used what they call the skinny O. Let me find that. The skinny O is on page 58. And that's what they call it, the skinny O. But I also cut it using the runt feature at 2 3/4 inches. When I cut the exclamation point, I cut it at 2 3/4 inches, and it was tiny. So I actually cut it at 3 3/4 inches, so it would be roughly the same height as the other letters. And you'll find that on page 61, and I also used the runt feature. So let me get my glue, and we'll go ahead and put these letters on. Okay, we're going to go ahead and glue our letters on, and a regular word book where you weld it all together into one piece, you wouldn't have to do it this way. You would have the outline of the letter attached to the one piece. But because we're not welding, we're going to go in just a little bit with this, about 1/4 of an inch showing inside the cutout of the B is what we want. So we're only going to put glue on this half of the B. And you just kind of have to eyeball this when you put all your letters on and just figure out what looks best. So we'll go ahead and let about 1/4 of an inch of the paper show, and we're going to line it up as best we can at the top and the bottom. This glue is so good, it only takes just a minute to have a good bond, or less. There you can see we've got our B on. And you want to go ahead while it's closed and see where you want to place your next letter. And do that with each layer. And then when we get to the exclamation point, we're going to have to do it a little differently. But you can see how it's going to look when we get them all in there. So I'm going to glue the O's on, and I'll be right back, and we'll put the exclamation point on and get some ribbons and some tags in here, and we'll be done. Okay guys, I went ahead, I've been tying on ribbons. I've got lots more to put on, and I've got some black fuzzy fibers somewhere that I want to put on here too. And I found a little charm that says play. I put that on the ring. But it's going to be really cute when I get a lot more ribbons on there. I went ahead and cut the tags, and just like in the fall album, I cut them at 4 inches using tags, bags, boxes, and more. This is the bevel top tag, and you'll find that on page 89, right down here. And I cut it on blackout so it wouldn't have holes. If you want to, you can leave the holes in there and put some ribbon in there. But I just went ahead and left it plain. And it'll just slide right back in there. And just remember to trim each one down to fit the shorter pockets. That's at 2.5, 3, 3.5, and then your last one you leave at 4. I wanted to show you too, on this exclamation point, I angled it out so it could be seen when the book was closed. And went ahead and put all my tags in there. But I'm going to have fun filling this up. I got to find my black fibers. I don't know what I've done with them. But there you go, guys. That's how you flatten your rolls and cover your rolls with your paper, put your letters on and everything. Very, very simple to do. And this one's done with the binder rings, where this was done with the bind it all. Thanks so much for coming by today, guys. Give this one a try. It's lots of fun. It's a good way to recycle. And I'll see you again soon. Bye now.